mighty warriors, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Alicia, and today I want to talk to you about counterfeits. As a Christian person, it is very imperative that you understand that God has a specific purpose for your life. A lot of times that purpose, it all the time, that purpose is to know God and to make God known. Like, that is why you're on this earth, to worship God, right? But a lot of times he will give you talents and he'll give you abilities to help get you into rooms and spaces and into circles where you can advance his kingdom, right? And it's imperative that you know that the enemy wants to do whatever he can to derail you. He wants to do whatever he can to spin you off on the wrong path, to send you on a tangent, to put you in a place where you feel imprisoned and trapped, and you know you're not doing whatever it is that God placed in your heart to do for him. But the enemy is happy as long as you are locked there, imprisoned there, unable to move, sort of in a straitjacket, if you will. A lot of times the way that the devil does this is, he attacks you young, through your family situations. Maybe you are in a family where you're not protected. And as you know, those on the outskirts of the herd, when the animals are moving or migrating, are the ones that the predators pick off, right? And so if you're not protected, if you're not covered, a lot of times the enemy will use those situations to impose hardship and suffering, and to make just life so hard that you turn on God, and that you start to blame God for all of the things that are going on in your life, when in reality it is the enemy setting up systems and using sin and strongholds in the family to erode the mission for God's people, right? He is attacking you through your family. He's attacking you through your family situations, through the alcoholic father or the absentee mother, or the sin of, family members constantly being addicted or unable to care for their families, or whatever it is. And it's important to know that even if you escape that particular scheme, a lot of people, they go into secondary, parts of their lives, like after they graduate high school, they go to college or they get their first job, and then the enemy starts to send you counterfeits. And it is so important. I don't know, there's so much that's important. I don't want to say one thing is more important than another, but it is imperative that you understand the damage that a counterfeit can do to your life. I was watching a sermon, and the pastor was like, have you ever seen one of those people who in their youth, they just looked full of life and exuberant, and just like they had the world to look forward to? And then you see them later in life and they are downtrodden. They're not taking care of themselves. They're like a shadow of who they were. And he said a lot of times you can trace that change back to a relationship, a person that the enemy put in that person's life to derail him or her. And that person is a counterfeit. It's important that you understand that counterfeits often look the part. They look like that person that you need in your life. They often speak the words that you want to hear initially. They often are generous initially. But that's all a ruse. It's a trick. It's love bombing, is the term that they use for it now. It's a hook. It's the fishing line that they throw out to you because they can see that light in you. There's something in you that they want more of, and they see that light, and they want to take it for themselves. And, as innocent and, you know, uh, green as a lot of Christians are, and some aren't, but some are, a lot of times we take that hook and we get hooked and then we can't get free. It's important that you understand that what the Bible says is true. Do not be unequally yoked with non believers. And be careful, because there are people out there who will study you and they will try to morph themselves into who they think you want them to be. And so you have to keep your cards close to your chest, and really observe people and listen to what they're saying. And another pastor said, you have to learn how these people think without showing them everything that's inside of you. Okay? Um, Counterfeits are, I think, one of the trickiest, most diabolical things that the enemy does to Christian people to derail us, right? Um, I have been told of a story recently where a gentleman, a Christian man, um, passed away because he was not being valued by the person that he was with. And a lot of times, people who are not Christians, they don't understand us. They don't understand our ways, our thinking, that, God is literally number one in our lives. We put him first and everything else follows behind. And when you're in these relationships with counterfeits and people who are not believers, their value system is where they put, their financial wellness above everything else. They put, their image above everything else. And if you don't fall in line with that, you're the enemy. So it's very, very important, people. Especially if you are someone who has been raised in the church and you know the word and you have a relationship with God, that you very, very carefully vet the people that you let into your life, the people that you begin relationships with, the people that you marry, the people that you enter into business with or contract with. I mean, you're not always going to be able to do that in certain situations, at a job or whatever. You can't control everybody who you're working with, but you can control the people that you allow to latch onto your energy, because a lot of times those people are going to steal, kill, and destroy. That is their MO, because that's the devil's MO. And you'll notice that initially they've done all the right things to get into your space, but once they have latched onto you, their whole mission is to steal, kill, and destroy. And they steal your vitality, they steal your financial wellness, they steal your energy, anything they can. And then the next thing you know, you are a shadow of yourself. You can't understand why this person why won't they just treat you the way that God says that a person should treat another person? But you have to understand, you can't expect an unsaved person to behave as a saved person. They don't have the capacity to do it. And so you have to protect yourself as a Christian. Of course, we are supposed to go out in the world and spread the good news, right? And we should do that, and we should do it with love and with care and with kindness. You always want to show people who are lost love, and do everything with kindness and seasoned with salt, right? But you also want to protect yourself from those people who look at your kindness as weakness and would take the opportunity to latch onto you in order to suck the life out of you and to derail your mission and to derail your purpose. I challenge you to look back on your life and really investigate if there is a situation that you can recall where you met a person and you thought they were one thing and they turned out to be something else, and how that might have negatively affected your life at that time. Think about the trajectory you were on and if they were able to derail you in any way. Maybe some of us are currently in that situation of derailment and waiting on God to deliver us. Um, so I hope that this message was a blessing to you. Um, Please, please, please understand that if there is a person manipulating the situation, a lot of times you don't know it. Honestly, a lot of Christians they just don't think in that way. We are not a manipulative group. Um, but, if you notice someone is always showing up, trying to be in your space, always maybe a little bit, maybe you notice that they're snooping around, or, they're trying to manipulate the situation in order to get into your space. Usually that is a signal that this is not right, because if it was right, they wouldn't have to work so hard. God puts the right people in your life at the right time, and you generally don't even have to do anything. He knows what to do. But those counterfeits are usually working under the surface. Like, they show that image of the duck who looks calm on top, but underneath they're working under the surface. A lot of times those counterfeits, they look calm and normal on top, but underneath, the manipulation, they're going through your phone, or they're following you around. Or manipulation is usually a signal that this person is probably not from God, and that you should keep your distance. Okay, it doesn't mean that you should be mean, but it just means that a lot of times these counterfeits are the moment where a person's life changes forever. Letting the wrong person into your life can vastly derail your life, and the enemy will use them to steal from you and to kill and to destroy. And that is, if there's anything that I can say that's very serious about this message, is that he will use these people to steal, kill you, and destroy your life. Okay? So I hope this message was a blessing for you. And until next time, be baptized and be blessed.